Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well and Happy New Year. This is the very first video of 2024, unexpectedly. Okay, I'm already back from my little break much sooner than I thought I'd be because I didn't realize that the Golden Globes were so soon. And so instead of my best of 2023 video being the first video of the year as is tradition, I'm breaking that tradition to react to this whole mess that happened last night. Literally just a disaster of a ceremony. Oh, the Golden Globes are so messy and filthy and horrible, but whatever. We are gonna dive into it, okay? But before we dive into all of that good stuff, as per usual, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can be told when I upload next. Because speaking of the best of video, that will be coming up very soon. I've already filmed it, it's in the can, it just needs to be edited. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you enjoy my award season coverage overall, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up to let YouTube know and also to let me know because I appreciate it. And also be sure to comment down below and let me know what your thoughts were on the Golden Globes, the outcome, the ceremony, if you caught it. Like, just let me know what you thought, because I thought it was just like a bit shambolic, quite frankly. But we are going to dive into all of that good stuff in this video, so if that sounds fun to you, then stay tuned. Okay, so first of all, before we talk about the actual winners of the night, I want to touch on the ceremony itself. And now the Golden Globes has had a pretty rocky few years after all the scandals and controversies that have come out about lack of diversity in the voting body when it was the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and also about the corruption of the awards themselves, which kind of put into question what the point of the awards are and the actual respectability and accountability involved in those awards. It seems as though Hollywood doesn't really want to ask those questions too much though. They're more than happy to just go back to the way things were now that the Golden Globes has been purchased by a different company which owns all the other awards bodies, mind you. Like, no one, is this not a monopoly on awards? Is it not sus that this one company owns like all of these publications, all of these awards ceremonies? Like, no one is asking questions. But again, like I said, they don't want to ask questions. They just want to go back to the way things were, especially pre-pandemic, back to the glitz and the glamour and patting themselves on the back for doing a good job for the sake of cinema. Like, that's what Hollywood wants to do. So yesterday's ceremony was a representation of Hollywood trying to return to business as usual, I guess. Now, I don't actually know the ins and outs of what happened last night because I didn't watch the Golden Globes ceremony, because here in the UK it takes place in the middle of the night and I have work. Like, I'm not about to stay awake all night long to see these rich people win awards and give each other gold statues. Like, that's not what I'm about to do, unless it's the Oscars. Anyway, and even if I wanted to stay up, I literally have no idea how I can access the Golden Globes legally in this country because they don't air on a typical channel. So like, I didn't watch it, but I did follow a good chunk of it on Twitter. So I guess I was up in the middle of the night watching the Golden Globes. But I did see chunks of it. I saw the awards acceptance speeches and I saw some clips of the host, which we'll talk about in a second. So yeah, I did see some bits and pieces. So I got the gist of what the award ceremony was like. And overall, it seems like it was very underwhelming. It seems like it was like very just meh. People were there to show up, get the publicity, drink the drinks, you know what I mean, get wasted. Okay, get wasted around their friends, and then some of them were there to collect gold statues, some of them were there for just the vibes, and that's okay, you know. But in terms of an actual awards show, there wasn't really much to show for it. Because overall the production was just, it doesn't feel like it was made for audiences at home. Like, they didn't really consider the viewing pleasure of us as audience members. It was mostly just to get the stars in the room, get them wasted, get some, you know, key moments of gossip, so that they would be like good highlights, and then give them the awards and dip and go to the after parties. That's literally it. We did get some highlights, although not all of them were positive. First of all, the host himself, Joe Coy. He is a comedian that I haven't really seen much from, but I have seen his face in passing. So like, I know he's out there. I know he's out there doing something, but he got roasted last night. Oh my goodness, everyone hated his opening monologue. Please, 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 please. People were hating on that from the very beginning. But then even throughout the show, everyone just kept talking about how dead the audience was, how he wasn't funny. And when he did try to make more controversial jokes, like about Taylor Swift, the Swifties were online shutting him down. Shutting him down. I was like, oh my God, this guy is bombing so hard. I'm feeling secondhand embarrassment, or third-hand embarrassment, because apparently the audience had the second-hand embarrassment. But yeah, so the host this year, boo. You know, we need to get some good hosts again. How is it that Hollywood doesn't have really good show hosts? How does that make any sense? Hollywood cannot find a good host that makes us all feel comfortable and welcome in these awards ceremonies, that can crack good jokes without being embarrassing or awkward. Like, it seems like the art of showmanship, especially on live television, has died. Like, how is that? How has Hollywood allowed that to happen? It's very, very bizarre. Of all of the different skills and talents that these stars have, hosting an awards show seems to elude them, and it's crazy. Every single year we see the situation getting worse and worse. So that's number one, the host was crap, okay? And number two, this is yet another awards ceremony that was attended by Taylor Swift, that forgot that anyone else was in the room. Have you noticed that this is have you guys noticed this trend? Okay, whenever Taylor Swift is at any awards ceremony, there will be a camera situated right there next to her, trying to pick up every single one of her reactions, whether she's picking up a drink, whether she's, you know, chatting with her friends, or clapping for someone who's won, or talking to Selena Gomez about Kylie Jenner, stopping her from taking a picture with Timothy Chalamet. Like, whenever Taylor Swift is in the room, there is a camera that is trained on her. And from what I've seen, it's not just in these award ceremonies, but also in these NFL games. Listen, people need to relax. People need to calm down. You can't rely on Taylor for the ratings of your show. If you give us a decent show, it won't be as painful to tune in. Like, it's pathetic, quite frankly. Like, in a room full of stars, you just have one camera on her at all times. Come on, guys, give us something more. Another highlight that was actually kind of positive was the reunion of the Suits gang. That was fun. I appreciated that. Okay, as someone who absolutely loved Suits a few years back, I was excited to see the gang return. This was, of course, to recognize the huge popularity of the show on streaming last year. People were checking it out in droves, and it got these huge numbers, especially over the summer. So it was really nice to see the gang kind of return and, you know, show up on stage to present. Unfortunately, because this is Hollywood, none of the writers or showrunners of the show actually got a monetary bump from this huge surge of popularity that the series experienced last year. But, you know, at least we have the stars standing next to each other on stage looking pretty. Like, that's fun. Okay, that's great. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the ceremony itself. Now let's dive into the actual winners of the night. Now, the big winners, okay, included Oppenheimer, Succession, The Bear, The Bear, okay, as well as Beef, and to some extent the Holdovers, especially for the acting categories, and Poor Things. So as per usual, there were a handful of projects that basically swept up all of the awards, and for the most part, I was like, okay, I was like, there were some results that pissed me off, of course, but that always happens. I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now. So like, that always happens. There's always something that annoys me. But for the most part, I was just like, yeah, fine. Yeah, I was kind of numb to, at this point, I think I'm kind of numb to it. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what's going to happen. It's so predictable. I see it coming from a mile away. So I'm just like, yeah, I knew this would happen. Whatever. So let's dive into the film categories first of all, where we saw Oppenheimer dominate in the drama categories. Some of these wins I was more than okay with. In fact, I was delighted by. First of all, Cillian Murphy won Best Actor in a Drama, and like, Absolutely. Absolutely. Now that he's won the Golden Globe, I'm pretty sure he's a lock for the Academy Award. And honestly, I couldn't be happier. As the world's biggest Cillian Murphy fan, okay, I could not be happier that he is a front runner for Best Actor. Now, you might be saying, Jean, I watched your Genie Awards, okay? First of all, thanks. But no, I watched your Genie Awards, Jean, and he didn't win the Genie Awards there, to which I would say my apologies, okay? But I had to go with my heart, and I kind of felt like Bradley Cooper's performance in Maestro edged Cillian Murphy's performance in Oppenheimer out just a little bit for me personally. But I was in distress. I was distraught over that decision. I still think in my mind they're roughly neck and neck. But like I said, Bradley Cooper just edged him out just a little bit. But I'm still delighted as a huge Cillian Murphy fan to see that he won the Golden Globe last night. And I also found it hilarious that Bradley Cooper went all Homelander. He went full Homelander, looking at Cillian like... Crazy, but I understand. People were making fun of him on social media, like, oh, Bradley Cooper looks insane. He looks like he's about to kill a man. And like, Bradley Cooper has been working on this role, by his admission, for 6 years. And I know that people are making fun of him for being like, oh, I was working on this for 6 years, blah, blah, blah. I also made fun of him. But after seeing the result and seeing how incredible he was in Maestro, I respect it to some extent. And yes, it is the kind of shtick that we always hear from these, awards people every single year, but still I do understand the frustration that he had when Cillian won, because even though he was clearly a front runner, Bradley Cooper may have still felt that he had a chance. And I think it just shows that he really cared about his role and his craft, and also that he really wanted to win. He really wanted the award, and I don't really think that he's as evil as people are portraying him to be. Like, I think he's unlikable for sure, and I said that in the Genie Award video. I don't know though, I think it's weird that people are making fun of Bradley Cooper for clearly being frustrated that he lost to Cillian Murphy. But when it was Angela Bassett during the Academy Awards, people were like, oh, Auntie Angela, oh no. Me being one of them, okay? But I'm just like, guys, like, these people work hard in their industry, in their field, and they hope to be, awarded. And when they lose out, it takes a lot to be able to just snap out of it and act like you're delighted for someone else. All these people are fakers. If you want to get into this, let's get into this, okay? Because all of these people are fake as hell. I saw a clip of Jennifer Lawrence standing up just with a huge round of applause clapping for Emma Stone when she won Best Actress in a Comedy. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Okay, do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what are the chances that she's really that delighted that Emma Stone won over her? Come on. Like, what are the chances? Okay, Jennifer Lawrence was playing the adorable, relatable actress that she was in 2013 last night. It was all a role. They're all freaking actors. Wake up. Let's use some of this, okay? Let's use some critical thinking. And they're all actors and they're all playing roles in that room. And it just so happens that Bradley Cooper wasn't able to put on his facade quick enough before the camera caught him looking like a whole ass Homelander. But anywho, listen, I don't want to distract from the fact that I'm really happy that Cillian Murphy won. I'm also really happy that Ludwig Göransson won for the score in Oppenheimer. I have said for many years, you guys need to listen to me. I have said for many years that Ludwig Göransson is becoming one of the greatest composers working in Hollywood today. I said this upon his win for the Black Panther score, which was incredible. And I'll say it once again for the score in Oppenheimer as well. Like, the guy can do no wrong in my eyes. He is just so freaking talented. So very happy to see that he won as well. And as I said in my video reacting to the nominees, I was really happy to see Oppenheimer win overall for Best Drama, because I do like that. I do like that film, believe me. Okay, it's just that I have so many issues with it, and also Christopher Nolan, which we'll get to in a second, but I did really enjoy that film, and so I was, happy to see it. I mean, was I happy? I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, whatever. And speaking of Christopher Nolan, he finally did it. After being nominated 6 times, he finally got to hold the Golden Globe in his hand, and he will likely get the Oscar as well in a couple months' time. And honestly, whatever. Honestly, whatever. This was one of the wins that I was really disappointed by. Like, I just don't I just don't like him. I don't like him. This whole Oppenheimer era in his career has been very carefully orchestrated to do exactly what it's just done, which is hand a bunch of white guys a bunch of awards, including some white guys that deserve it, okay? Including some white guys that, you know, are long overdue for some recognition, like Cillian Murphy, who should have been getting nominations for his role in Peaky Blinders, but whatever, we move. And also Ludwig Göransson. Like, I'm a fan of a lot of these white guys, okay? But this is what this film was built for, to get Christopher Nolan an award, finally, especially after Dunkirk failed to do so. And so he played the game, and he played the game well, and now all of his hopes and dreams are coming to fruition. So, like, good on him, you know? Like, how can I can't be too much of a hater, because I did like the film at the end of the day. Oh guys, I have to stop doing this. I promised myself when the clock struck midnight in 2024 that I would end my one-sided beef with Christopher Nolan. Like, I promised myself. Okay, so I'm happy for him. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm indifferent. Although I'm less indifferent about the next one, which is Robert Downey Jr. winning the award for Best Supporting Actor. Honestly, boo. Honestly, truly, boo. That one actually pissed me off, and that one actually was unwarranted. In the same category as Ryan Gosling and Charles Melton, you're gonna give it to Robert Downey Jr., who essentially played a little bit more of a sinister version of himself. Honestly, I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of this. Hollywood annoys me. Every single year when I react to these ceremonies, it's the same story. I get a migraine. I said in my video reacting to the nominees that my worst case scenario would be Robert Downey Jr. winning, and lo and behold, look what happened. But honestly, I'm not even wholly surprised, because this is just how Hollywood functions. This is what they do to me every single year. But okay, moving away from Oppenheimer for just a little bit, we also had Best Supporting Actress going to Divine Joy Randolph. And honestly, that was a bright moment that actually started the awards ceremony. So I was in a good mood at the beginning, okay? And then that was promptly destroyed when Robert Downey Jr. won. But anywho, I was delighted to see that Divine Joy Randolph won Best Supporting Actress for the Holdovers. Like, absolutely, she was brilliant in that film, as I said in my previous video. So yes, that was a win that I was really happy with. I did hear rumblings that perhaps Danielle Brooks should have won for The Color Purple. Unfortunately, I still have not seen The Color Purple. It's still not out yet here in the UK. But yeah, that is a shame if she was really great in that film and wasn't acknowledged. It seems like The Color Purple was just shut out completely, to the point where it wasn't even nominated for Best Comedy or Musical. So the Golden Globes really messed up there anyways. But I do think that Divine Joy Randolph is a front runner for this category. She's been winning a lot of the smaller awards, although so has Charles Melton, but nothing is guaranteed. Anyways, here's hoping that the Oscars will listen to the other voting bodies and not the Golden Globes and give it to Charles Melton when the time comes, although I don't have high hopes. But also to Divine Joy Randolph, who seems to definitely be the front runner. And speaking of the Holdovers, we also saw Paul Giamatti take home the award for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy, and that was brilliant. Honestly, I was really happy for him. Taking a look at the list of nominees, I do think that he was, you know, one of the stronger performances and a front runner in this category. I think he'll have a tougher time with the Academy Awards and the BAFTAs and that, because they're all combined, unlike the Golden Globes. And so I do still think that Cillian Murphy is a front runner there. But it's nice to see that that he got rewarded for his amazing work in that film, because he played a very contentious character that should have been deeply unlikable, but throughout the film you just kind of warm up to him. Yes, you do. And then on the flip side, we saw Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy going to Emma Stone for Poor Things. And honestly, I was a little bit disappointed by this one. I would have rather had seen Margot Robbie win for Barbie. We'll talk about Barbie in a second. We'll talk about Barbie in a second. But I would rather see Margot Robbie. I would have rather have seen Fantasia for The Color Purple. Again, The Color Purple just being ignored. It really doesn't sit right with me. But yeah, Emma Stone kind of snuck in there and overtook Margot Robbie a couple of months ago. And now people have just forgotten about poor Barbie. And that's heartbreaking, okay? It was bad enough that they forgot about Barbie, but then they also ignored Ken and the whole film overall. So I'm just like, what is going on? Anyway, again, we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, I still haven't seen Poor Things. And honestly, from what I've heard about the film being very explicit, having a bunch of sex scenes, nudity all the time, I'm thinking I might wait to see the film when it's on streaming or when it's available in VOD instead of seeing it in cinemas. Because I just don't feel like sitting down in a dark room surrounded by strangers watching a film that has, you know, back-to-back sex scenes all the time. Like, I just don't feel like doing that. I'm so sorry. I just like, that doesn't seem appealing to me, okay? So as much as people love this film, apparently, I'm just not interested in seeing it in cinemas. I would much rather watch it in the comfort of my own home where I can look away shyly, or I can skip. And speaking of Poor Things, my worst nightmare came true. My worst nightmare came true. So in my video reacting to the nominees for the 2024 Golden Globes, I said that I wanted Barbie to win in this category, and I predicted that it likely would. However, later down the line, when I stumbled across that new category that they came up with, Best Blockbuster Achievement of the Year, whatever nonsense, I speculated, horrified, I realized that there may be a chance that the Golden Globes had literally only introduced that category so that it can gift the award to Barbie, and then the Best Motion Picture Award, the legitimate award, Best Motion Picture Award for Comedy or Musical, would go to Poor Things. I speculated this in front of your very eyes. In front of your very eyes, when I was filming that video, it occurred to me. But I shivered in horror. I shivered in fear because I said, that can't happen. That would be the worst case scenario. That's literally what I said. And then the worst case scenario happened. Like, when I tell you I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, Hollywood does this to me every year. When will I learn? When will I learn that the worst case scenario will always happen? They snubbed Barbie bad. I don't know what's happening in Hollywood, but everyone is sick and tired of Barbie. They're still riding on the Oppenheimer train. Okay, they're still riding on the Oppenheimer high, but Barbie has just been shut out, and it is disgraceful. And this speaks to the sentiment of Hollywood wanting to go back to business as usual, because this film that is fun, that is fresh, that is funny, okay, that should have been a front runner in this category at least, has been completely shut out in favor of these more traditional Hollywood favorites, you know, awards baity films like these biopics like Oppenheimer and Maestro, and also these more quirky avant-garde films like Poor Things. You can't have Barbie be a front runner because it's just like a comedy. Like, who cares? A comedy, mind you, in this comedy category. It really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. And not only that, right? But you would think in this comedy or musical category, you would at least have a legitimate musical with The Color Purple. But not even. How can I forget? In my anger, in my distress, I almost forgot to congratulate her for her Golden Globe for Best Actress, which is absolutely deserved. I still have questions about whether her role is technically a lead role as opposed to a supporting, but they seem to be pushing her for a lead role, probably because she is a Native American actress in this film about Native American history, so they really want to emphasize the key role that she played in that film, to which I would say then they should have given her a larger role in the script, but I digress. So I respect the fact that she is up for lead and looking to be the front runner for this category as well, and I'm really happy that she ended up winning because I do think that she had a phenomenal performance in Killers of the Flower Moon. But anywho, back to the Barbie debacle. So yeah, in the end, my worst horrors, my worst nightmares came true, and Barbie ended up winning Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement or whatever. This like fake award, this fake made up award. It's like when the Oscars, remember when they had like the most fan worthy moment award, or like they had like those random awards that they just came up with on the fly because they wanted people to tune in. And then a bunch of Zack Snyder fans just used bots to like vote 1,000 times for their favorite Zack Snyder films, and so The Flash ended up having most iconic moment in film or whatever. Like, it's just nonsense. It's literal nonsense. Like I said, I do not take any of this seriously. I will not allow this damn award show to raise my blood pressure yet another time, okay? Barbie won in this stupid made-up category that doesn't really count for anything. It's even more made up than the rest of these awards, okay? And it's just a farce. Honestly, it's an insult, quite frankly. And this is what I mean when I say everyone is fake in that room, because the fact that Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie had to get up on that stage and accept that award, that bogus award, with smiles on their faces, acting all gracious and grateful for the award, like that is an Oscar-worthy performance if I ever did see one. Because if it was me, I would spit in their faces. F you. And then lastly, for the film categories, we had Best Animated Feature Film, which went to The Boy and the Heron, and I feared that this would happen. I feared that this would happen. I was disappointed. You guys know how I feel about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Like, come on. If you've been here for more than a second, then you know. So yeah, I was heartbroken. But I'm not too devastated because the Spider-Verse films have won a bunch of awards in the past. So I think that alleviates the pain just a little bit. I'm like, okay, fine. Give it to Miyazaki, I guess. And then when it comes to Best Foreign Language Film, we had Anatomy of a Fall win. And since doing my reaction video to the nominees, I have actually gone to see Anatomy of a Fall. And I had the time of my life, quite frankly. Well, it wasn't fun, but it's a very engaging film. I was wholly invested. And I do think it was a really brilliant film to check out. So I don't think it's necessary to check it out in cinemas, but if you happen to catch it on VOD, I do recommend it. And I was really happy to see it win in this category. It did go up against Past Lives, which I found shocking. I would have chosen Past Lives in a heartbeat over Anatomy of a Fall, but I do still really enjoy Anatomy of a Fall, so I wasn't too heartbroken about that. Also, I was disappointed to see that The Hot Lawyer... This is a side note, okay? The Hot Lawyer wasn't present, and like in my mind, he's kind of like a French Cillian Murphy. So if they were standing next to each other in proximity, I don't know, maybe my brain just wouldn't be able to handle it. So maybe it's a good thing that he wasn't there. Okay, so now it's time to dive into the TV show categories, where it was a little less eventful. Succession ended up winning all of the drama categories. Beef ended up winning in all of the limited series categories, and my family, my Chicago family, ended up winning with all of the comedy categories. And I know some of you girlies are upset because you don't think that The Bear is a comedy, but all I have to say is cry about it. Like, all I have to say is cry about it. Like, what do you want me to do? The Bear is a comedy. It has comedic elements, strong comedic elements. It's just that sometimes those comedic elements are overshadowed by chaos and madness and destruction. And that's okay. That's fine. Okay, and I feel like because the comedy is a little more understated, it's more in line with my British humor, you know, which is why I appreciate it even more. It's not like a yuck yuck type of show, although I like those as well, like Abbott Elementary. The comedy is more like beneath the surface. It's more of like a blue humor situation, a dark humor, which I appreciate. I was delighted to see the People's Princess Ayo Edebiri win Best Actress in a Comedy Series. I was thrilled. I was so happy to see her win, and also Jeremy Allen White, although he already won last year and I was thrilled about that, so like we move. Ayo Edebiri winning was just so deserved. Her character arc throughout 2023, where she was in pretty much everything, every, you know, smaller production that came out in 2023 had Ayo Edebiri's name on it somewhere. To see that whole arc end with her getting a Golden Globe in her hand was just magnificent. And on top of that, I found her speech to be really heartwarming. She thanked not only her agents and her managers, but also their assistants. Oh, the People's Princess! And naturally, we also saw The Bear win in Best TV Series, Comedy or Musical overall, which again just made me so happy. You guys know, okay, how much I love this show. So I was very happy to see it sweep last night. I know I'm a bit hypocritical because I'm like, sweeps are bad because they should be watching more TV. But at the same time, when it's The Bear, like, it's fine. When it's The Bear, it's okay. When it's Oppenheimer, it pisses me off. When it's The Bear, it's fine. And like I said, the other show that had a major sweep was Succession. And I feel like they could have worked a little bit harder here. Again, the hypocrisy. But, you know, I don't think all of the Succession fam had to win here. Like, fine. You know, the only one that managed to break through was like Elizabeth Debicki for The Crown, which was very well earned. Speaking of the People's Princess, she portrayed Princess Diana so phenomenally in both seasons 5 and 6 of The Crown, and so I think she was wholly deserving of the win there. But pretty much everyone else, especially in the drama categories, came from the Succession alumni. The win that I was most happy about was Kieran Culkin, because I think he was my choice as well in my reaction video, but he did give my favourite performance in the final season of Succession, so I was really happy to see him win. And his little dig at Pedro Pascal was cute, it was funny. A lot of people said that that should have been Cillian Murphy towards Bradley Cooper. Like, he would never. He's literally too Irish for that. Anyway, and then when it came to Best Actress in a Drama Series, we saw Sarah Snook take home the award, which I was also really happy about. She was absolutely phenomenal in this final season of the show. So, like, huge congratulations to her. I mean, the Succession gang are just a really great ensemble cast, you know, so it really is just, you're spoiled for choice when it comes to which one of these guys will actually end up taking home the award. And Sarah Snook actually had the advantage out of the whole group because she was the only main female lead on that show, whereas the other guys just kind of had to fight it out in those other categories. But yeah, I was really glad to see her win. She was absolutely phenomenal on the show. And then lastly, the third big series that took home a bunch of awards last night was, of course, Netflix's Beef, where we saw Ali Wong and Steven Yeun take home the awards for Best Actress and Best Actor, respectively. And the series itself won Best Limited Series overall. I thought Beef was a really great show and I was really happy to see it win. I do think it was my favourite out of the nominees in this category. And I have since watched, upon you guys' recommendation, I have since watched Fellow Travelers, starring Matt Bomer and Jonathan Bailey. And whilst I did really enjoy that series and it was really insightful and heartbreaking at times, I would still say that Beef kind of edges it out just a little bit for me personally still. And so out of the three that I saw, which is Lessons in Chemistry, Beef, and Fellow Travelers, I think Beef was most deserving. It's just a shame that it had that scandal surrounding it. with one of their, co-stars, because it really put a sour taste in everyone's mouth when it came to that show. So yeah, that's it from me, guys. Now that I told you guys my thoughts on the Golden Globes ceremony, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of the winners, any snubs. If you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Please be sure to subscribe to catch the videos coming up, including my reaction for the Emmys next week. I didn't realize these would be back to back, guys. I'm so tired. But yes, the Emmys are going to be next week, so I'll be reacting to the winners there as well, so tune in for that. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.